You are driving down a highway. You look out the window and see a field. And in that field, you see a herd running. And your heart stops. You don't have to own a saddle to feel it. You don't have to be a rider to feel it. It is a sudden, sharp pang of longing. It is a feeling of awe. Why? Why is the horse the one animal that has captivated the human imagination more than any other? We don't look at cows this way. We don't look at sheep this way. But the horse is different. Psychologically, the horse is not just an animal to us. It is a symbol. It is a totem. If you are someone who loves horses, whether you have one in your backyard or just a painting of one on your wall, you are drawn to them because they represent the parts of yourself that civilization has tried to tame. They represent the wild, they represent freedom, and they represent a kind of nobility that is rare in the human world. Today, we are going to look at the psychology of horse lovers. We are going to look at why you are drawn to their power, why their beauty makes you emotional, and what this love says about the desires of your own soul. To understand the obsession, we must first turn to Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology. Jung did not view the horse merely as a beast of burden. He viewed it as a potent manifestation of the unconscious mind. In Jungian analysis, the horse represents the animal's soul within the human psyche. It is the externalization of the libido, not in the sexual sense, but as the raw, driving life energy that propels us forward. Civilization requires us to repress our instincts. We must be polite, we must sit still in offices, we must adhere to social contracts. Jung argued that this repression creates a shadow, the hidden, primal side of the personality. The fascination with the horse is a psychological attempt to reintegrate the shadow. When you admire a horse, you are not looking at a separate entity. You're looking at a projection of your own intuitive nature that has been silenced by modern life. The horse acts without hesitation. It does not overthink. It reacts with total somatic honesty. For the human observer, this is magnetic. Jung utilized the concept of mana, a Polynesian term describing a pervasive supernatural power or influence. The horse possesses high mana. Individuals who are drawn to horses often possess a specific psychological need to connect with this non-rational power. You are likely an intuitive type in the Jungian sense, meaning you process the world through impressions and possibilities rather than strict data. You love the horse because it validates the non-verbal, instinctual part of your existence. It bridges the gap between the civilized mask you wear and the wild creature you feel you are internally. Sigmund Freud offered a different, yet equally compelling perspective. For Freud, the psyche is a battleground between the id, instinctual drives, the ego, the rational self, and the superego, moral conscience. The horse is the ultimate symbol of the id. It represents unbridled energy, muscle, impulse, and desire. The act of riding, or even the act of managing such a large animal, is a classic example of sublimation. Sublimation is a mature defense mechanism where socially unacceptable impulses like aggression, dominance, and raw power are transformed into socially acceptable actions. In the human world, we cannot run wild. We cannot physically dominate our environment without consequence, but through the horse, we can. The rider on the horse creates a composite being, the centaur. This validates Freud's structural model of the mind. The horse is the id, the engine of energy, and the human is the ego, the steering mechanism. When you feel a rush of adrenaline watching a horse gallop, you are experiencing the vicarious release of your own id. You are witnessing pure impulse manifested in the physical world. Psychologically, this suggests that horse lovers are not escapists, they are integrationists. They are seeking a method to align their intellect with their instincts. The bond is about the harmonization of these two opposing forces. There's a specific type of intelligence that all horse lovers share, even if they don't know it. It is called somatic intelligence. Most of the world operates on semantic intelligence, words, logic, spreadsheets. But the horse lover operates on feeling, touch, and micro movements. You are likely the person who walks into a room and instantly knows the vibe before anyone speaks. You notice when someone's shoulders are tight. You notice the shift in breathing. You have trained your brain to read the language of the body. This is backed by research into equine facilitated learning. In a 2016 study, Hama suggested that humans who are successful with horses are those who can regulate their own internal state to match the horse, and vice versa. This means you are a master of emotional regulation. It is supported by another study by Keeling, providing biological proof. Researchers monitored the heart rates of horses and humans interacting. They found that within moments of interaction, the heart rate variability of the horse and the human began to synchronize. This is a phenomenon known as physiological coupling. The study demonstrated that horses are acutely aware of human autonomic states. When the human's heart rate increased, indicating stress or anticipation, the horse's heart rate increased in exact correlation. But the inverse is also true. A calm horse can regulate a human. This explains the addiction to the barn. You are entering a biofeedback loop. Because the horse has a massive heart physically, their electromagnetic field is significantly larger than a human's. When you stand near them, your physiology attempts to match their rhythm via entrainment. You love them because they act as an external regulator for your internal stress. They physically force your body to lower its cortisol levels. This explains why horses are often used for kids with various needs to help children with disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, trauma, and anxiety to develop motor skills, communication, emotional regulation, and confidence. For a child with autism, the human world is a sensory minefield. It is full of mixed signals, lies, sarcasm, and deception. It is a code they cannot crack, but the horse is binary. The horse is radically honest. The horse does not judge the child for a lack of eye contact. The horse does not care about social awkwardness. The horse cares only about energy. A 2014 study conducted by Washington State University examined the effects of equine interaction on human physiology. They found that children who worked with horses had significantly lower levels of cortisol than those who did not. But the mechanism is key here. It wasn't just petting an animal. It was the demand for presence. To interact with a horse, you must shut down your analysis of the past and your worry about the future. You must be here. The horse demands it. For the person who loves horses, this is the ultimate relief. You are often a person with a busy, overactive mind. You overthink social interactions. You worry about what people think of you. The horse offers you a vacation from your own ego. When you are with them, you're not a manager or a mother or a failure. You're simply a body moving in space with another body. It is a state of pure existence. Let's talk about the specific psychology of the desire to ride or even just to see them run. Why is it so emotional to watch a horse gallop? We can explain this using self-expansion theory. This theory suggests that a fundamental human motivation is the desire to expand the self, to increase our physical and social resources, perspectives, and identities. We want to be more than we are. Humans are biologically limited. We are bipedal. We are slow. We are fragile. The horse represents the ultimate biological upgrade. When you love a horse, you are psychologically including the horse in your self-concept. When you sit on their back, or even when you walk beside them, you borrow their attributes. You borrow their speed. You borrow their size. You borrow their flight instinct. This is particularly potent for women. Throughout history, and even today, women are often taught to take up less space, to be smaller, to be quieter. The horse allows the horse lover to take up maximum space. When you are controlling a 1,200-pound animal, you are commanding a massive amount of physical territory. This satisfies a deep, subconscious hunger for power, but it is a specific kind of power. It is not power over, dominance. It is power with, partnership. You love the horse because they lend you their strength, and in return, you give them your guidance. It is the ultimate symbiotic upgrade to your own identity. So who is the horse person? Is there a specific personality type? A 2010 study analyzed the personality traits of riders versus non-riders using the Big Five personality theory. The data revealed a fascinating contradiction. Horse lovers score significantly higher in assertiveness and sensation-seeking than the general population. Sensation-seeking theory explains the drive for varied, novel, and complex experiences. However, unlike typical thrill seekers who might enjoy gambling or reckless driving, horse lovers also score high in conscientiousness, a psychological trait associated with discipline, duty, and work ethic. This creates a unique psychological profile, the responsible risk taker. Managing a 1,200-pound animal requires grit. It requires strict adherence to routine. The study indicates that you are drawn to horses because you have a psychological need for high-stakes responsibility. You do not want an easy life. You want a life where your actions have immediate, tangible consequences. Finally, we must address the social psychology of the horse lover. Often, the person who loves horses feels slightly out of step with human society. The horse becomes your chosen family. Attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby, explains how we form bonds with caregivers. In human relationships, we often encounter anxious or avoidant attachment styles. Humans are inconsistent. They lie. They have hidden agendas. They judge. The horse offers a secure base. In animal-assisted therapy research, this is known as a non-judgmental presence. The horse does not care about your socioeconomic status. It does not care about your appearance. It cares only about your autonomic congruence. Are you steady? Are you fair? If the answer is yes, the horse engages. This allows individuals who have experienced relational trauma in the human world to form a secure attachment. The horse operates on honest signals. In evolutionary biology, an honest signal is a trait that cannot be faked. A horse cannot pretend to be relaxed while it is angry. Its ear position, tail tension, and respiration are absolute indicators of its internal state. For the human mind, which is exhausted by the cognitive load of decoding human social lies, the horse is a relief. The bond is binary. It is clear. This attracts people who value authenticity above all else. You are drawn to them because the relationship is stripped of manipulation. It is a pure exchange of energy and intent. At last, we have to talk about the adrenaline, the fear. Why are we drawn to an animal that can kill us? Let's not romanticize it. A horse is a dangerous animal. One kick can end you. One fall can change your life. Yet, we run toward them, not away. This is explained by the philosophical and psychological concept of the sublime, famously categorized by Edmund Burke. Burke argued that beauty is small, smooth, and pleasing. The sublime, however, is vast, powerful, and capable of provoking terror. The sublime produces the strongest emotion the mind is capable of feeling. Psychologically, the human brain craves high arousal states that are managed. When you stand next to a stallion, your amygdala, the threat detection center, registers the mass and muscle density of the animal. It calculates the lethality potential. It floods the body with norepinephrine. You are hyper-aware. Your focus narrows. However, because you have established a relationship of trust, the immediate threat is suppressed by the prefrontal cortex. This cognitive friction, the presence of danger, mixed with the assurance of mastery, creates a state of awe. You love them because they are beautiful monsters. In a modern life that is often boring, sanitized, and predictable, the horse offers a dose of reality. They represent potentia, power that is currently restrained, but could be unleashed at any second. You are not looking for a pet. You are looking for a brush with mortality. You are looking for the feeling of standing next to a fire that warms you but could also burn the house down. It is a form of risk regulation that makes you feel vividly, painfully alive. So, if you are one of those people who would rather spend a Friday night at the barn than at a bar, or if you still stop scrolling every time you see a video of a wild stallion, do not let anyone minimize that feeling. You are not just animal crazy. You are a person who values authenticity over politeness. You are a person who possesses the rare combination of high empathy and high grit. You are a person who is willing to do the hard, dirty work of building trust, rather than just expecting it to be given to you. You have found a way to satisfy your need for freedom in a society that wants to keep you in a box. The horse is not just